Sedgwick County that spans over the Arkansas River. It is being nominated under Criteria C for its architecture and for its art. The idea for the bridge came from Ethel Crawford Parker, who was a teacher at Wichita High School North, which is just across the way / on the same street next door. It was built by Glenn H. Thomas in 1932 in cast concrete with decorative cartholite structures in the Art Deco style. Lawrence Briers was hired by Thomas as the iconographer and draftsman. And then Bruce Moore did the sculpting. The artwork blends function and aesthetic expression to telling the story of buffalo hunting by Wichita's first inhabitants, the Wichita and affiliate tribes, especially the Washita River people. It was locally listed on the Wichita Register of Historic Places in 1979, which is just their local register, for the stylistic and technological characteristics of the 1920s and 30s Art Deco style. The Minissa Bridge was restored in 2007 to address the subsculpture and superstructure.
Substructure and superstructure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Bridges. Bridges.
Words get in trouble.
That's okay.
3 I-beams were added to support the original spanning structure over the river. And that's all I got. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then with that piece, do we have some comments or questions from the board at this point? I can definitely attest that this has been is definitely one of those icons in Wichita, and there was a huge effort a couple of years ago to get individuals to donate old glass, because cartholite, for those who may not be familiar with it, is in this use of powdered glass and powdered materials. It's not painted, but in the concrete itself is colored, and which is a very Wichita thing. And so there was a whole effort to maintain that. So there's definitely an interest in the structure.
Can I ask a question about something that's not in the documentation, but is in the photos, I think, of the bridge that I've seen, and about what Minissa is, as a, like where it comes from. So I think the bridge has a plaque that says it's a Zuni word, but the documentation just says like Native American.
Yeah.
Like, do we know what's going on there in any?
Susie Cunningham with the Little Arkansas Community Coalition is online. She may be able to speak to that.
She wrote that.
Susie, I think you can.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. The Zuni tribe reference was only found on my part from like a travel blog. I could not get it documented any further than that, so I worked with the Wichita tribe in Anadarko, which is where they keep all their historic records, and they helped me with the wording on that.
So do we know if it comes from an indigenous language at all? Is it Wichita? Did they say it was Wichita?
Yeah.
It comes from the Wichita Nation, which is it has several subsets, but no, I didn't find that.
I actually can chime in on this one. I was able to, there's a listing to the Wichita papers called the TIHEN notes, TIHEN notes.
Oh, okay.
And so I just did that, because just put in the terms for Minissa. In December 28th, 1930, it says, article reports the premiere last evening of Thurlow Lawrence's new symphony, Minissa, The latter is a Chippewa word meaning red water at sunset, is what this says. I will put
Oh,
this.
thank
in
you. I read a
chat.
ton of TN notes. I missed it.
Yeah, just different stuff. So that seems to be, it's a riff on that symphony rather than something specific, but as I find out more, I'll put some of that in there.
Jay,
Yes.
um, I would also like to add that, well, the bridge is beautiful, well maintained, has always been. And the area to the north and the south, the area is historic to the city. And maybe you can help me. Well, there is an island just to the south of 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 the bridge, and that has a historical story to that about a structure that was there in the 20s, a Native American structure. But also to the north, can you tell me? I read that there was an Osage village or a hunting village there on the grounds that would be where North High is, and that also there was one of the first forts established there also. And I can't remember the name of it. I've read about it, but right there, when you drive by over that, you look at the river's beautiful. And of course, North High is the second oldest high school in Wichita, which my two kids went to. And then south with the island there. So I'm really happy that you've done this, that this is going to be put on the register. But do you know about the fort or the village?
Yeah,
There-
I could tell. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm
please.
sorry. I included an image of the map that shows the village where North High is.
Good. I don't see it right now, so good.
Yeah, the Wichita people had a village when they were there in Wichita, in the vicinity in the 1860s. Excuse me, they were refugees, obviously, from the Civil War. And so yeah, the village is listed just more or less where North High is at the moment, and that's going to be in the 1860s. Um, the fort is a little bit later. The fort is that's Camp Beecher or Butterfield, or it goes from a couple, but Camp Beecher is how it's usually known. In fact, Cowtown is working on developing kind of an exhibit on that at the moment. That is going to be in the vicinity also, but that's going to be in 1868. That was when that
Right.
was constructed.
Right.
The island there, sometimes called Meads Island, actually did host a recreated village in 1927 but it was a Wichita Grass Lodge. It wasn't Osage.
Thank
More
you.
comment?
Yeah.
Mark Kelly, just
Go
to
for it.
say so, we can remove the reference to the Zuni.
Yep, we can.
Where I grew up, they're located to the south of Route 66 between Grants and Gallup, New Mexico.
I'd like to add to this as well. I feel like just what Jay and Jean are talking about here, the elaboration that is really lacking in all of this extra contextual detail. But I do have a concern with the plaque itself. Do we consider it as part of the architecture when considering this nomination? Because it is inaccurate. It is not it's not in the Zuni dictionary, and yet this plaque is telling us that this is from the Zuni tongue. And so I have a real problem with like voting to, move this forward if it's part of this architecture that promotes a false history.
I don't know when the plaque was put on.
It's
Is
dated
it-
1932.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, something
Clear
could
it up
be
in the
added.
narrative.
yeah, we can
I will-
clarify in the nomination. Yeah.
The artwork is not Zuni.
No.
Not the Zuni people like.
We'll get it
Yeah.
cleaned up.
I would suggest also
not, that the nomination not assert that this is the Native American word if we do not know that.
Yeah.
Right, that it was reputed to be, or it comes from the opera itself, or.
Right.
Yeah, I
You
would
can
like to
use
see-
the source that Jay mentioned that has that reference and say that that's what was written, or.
I would, that's.
We
what
don't
was
have,
written.
yeah, that was
I'm
written.
very skeptical too,
Yeah.
well, I'm skeptical of anything relating to
Yes.
an indigenous language at all.
It's a good example of what we thought 1930.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, yes, you
Yeah.
can use that as the reference at the time, or this time is what they said, but not, yeah.
Yeah, it's very historic, and I think that that's part of the documentation of how it is historic about the misconceptions of the time period.
But that's not clear in the nomination.
We can add that in there, just like the Atchison Historic District at the last meeting, I put some chunks in there about wordage that was used and the time period it came from and how it was in there, so we can definitely add that to here and clear up the Zuni references.
Another thing I'm kind of looking at as I'm going through the description architecture. Maybe this is a picky detail, but it actually might tie in a little bit into why we have this false reference to the Zuni. It's it's Art Deco unquestionably, and it goes through as Art Deco. It's actually a style called Pueblo Deco, which, and in fact, there's a whole book on Pueblo Deco, so I would highly recommend make sure that's referenced. But basically, it's a hybrid of Native American-ish imagery and Art Deco imagery that was super popular. And part of the thing is that Wichita is 125% convinced it's part of the Southwest in the 1920s. And so this is a Western, quote unquote, looking structure. So that's exactly why, for example, North High bears that same imagery. So there's this kind of fusion. So I might really talk about this Pueblo Deco as part of the identity piece of it as well that could be really developed.
Got it. I'm glad this is recorded because I ran out of space. But I do have it all. I can send it back to you guys to look at if that makes you more comfortable too.
Well, I think even just what Jade said there is really important.
Yes, yeah.
Again, you use the word Native American-ish.
Yeah.
And, you know, you don't get that sense at all. You kind of have to piece together that from the nomination, and I'm just not comfortable with that.
So the question is, at this point, let's see, I'm kind of going, there we go. Okay, sorry. I was checking another note here in the comments. I think the question here, folks, is how do we wish to proceed on this? Is this a significant enough set of changes that we do the deny full but resend it back, or do we think that things could be handled sufficiently as we send it forward?
That's up to you all.
I think it's as eligible as anything we've ever looked at, just whether you want to come back and have this whole conversation again, or trust us to fix it and send it to you for your review.
Whatever you're comfortable with, it's up to you guys, so.
All right.
It'll go back through the noticing process again too, so it'll come back to the board, be on the next agenda. Go through all that. We did not
What
have
are
anything.
you asking, Jay? What,
Yeah.
why is this so substantial that you would send it back to change?
Okay, well, I think there's I just want to make sure I'm understanding the wishes of the board on this one, because there's a lot more we could talk, because the conversation about, there's some context about Native American, the Pueblo Deco style, how does it tie into some of that? Is that, something that could be added in and we're cool with it, but also the reference to Native American imagery as well, especially making sure we're clear on that. I think I just want to make sure that the team here is comfortable with sending it forward with revisions and how significant those revisions are. That, we're taking the temperature of the room.
Yes, well, without a doubt, I believe that this qualifies, will always qualify. I really don't want to send it back because that would delay. Again, I don't know how long that would take. So I would like to see it move forward with the revisions, with them understanding that there should be revisions, but I just hate to delay it because I'm surprised it hasn't been done a long time ago.
You and I are the same.
I
Well,
support it either way. I support the bridge being placed on the register, but
I can talk through
that's my
the
opinion.
steps.
Well,
sorry,
Jean,
one-
I'm sorry.
I don't know if this is procedurally part of it, but would it be acceptable to ask during the revision process that this be sent through like a typo of the Wichita and affiliated tribes to review that language? Because again, I wouldn't want something like the language piece, like this actual word, not being correct in the record.
So we've done that before. That's not a problem. I'll find the typo for the Wichita. But for the procedural side, like you're saying, so when you all vote to approve something or recommend something to the keeper, we then have 90 days to send it to the keeper. And if we don't send it by 90 days, then we have to submit it back to you guys anyway. So it's whether or not we have the time and ability to make those changes within 90 days. So that would give us, if we worked on it next week, that would give us that much time to reach out to the TIPO and see if they have any comment. Sometimes we hear back, sometimes we don't. I think we usually reach out 3 or 4 times, call, email, try to schedule meetings. I think I've driven to, we met with Secretary Allen for another nomination, the Powhatan one. So we can easily and actively reach out to get clarification. But if you vote yes, then we have 90 days to get it revised and submitted.
If you vote to deny for more information, it will come back
Yes,
again anyway.
yes. So then we'll have like 6 months to work on it versus 3 months. So then it'll come back, get noticed again, and come back to you guys to see. Who's an option?
So Jay, we're taking the temperature of the room, right? So like,
Yeah.
So I very much think that the changes need to be made. I think we have kind of outlined the parts that kind of seem uncomfortable, whatever. This isn't something where there's like a big unknown somewhere, except for maybe us to say, this is unknown if it actually comes from, right? So I'm comfortable with approving with these pretty significant revisions and trust the SHPO to do it. But that's just my kind of perspective on it. I can see the other way too.
I'm comfortable moving forward with staff revisions.
All right. Well, then I'm hearing that there's a lot of interest in having this crossover to listing in the registers, and Jean was very interested in that. It almost sounded like she had a nomination. She was making a nomination. Is this indeed
I would
correct?
love to. I would love
Why,
to, and
go-
thank you for the discussion.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I move the board approve the nomination for listing in the Register of Historic Places with revisions as discussed. Is that possible? Is that permissible?
Yeah.
The property is eligible for criterion C, architecture and art.
I second that.
Thank you.
So I do think roll call vote is necessary if in this one, please.
Okay. Mark,
Right.
Ryan,
Approve.
Mary,
Approve.
Laura,
Disapprove.
Jay,
Approve.
Jean,
Approve.
Carrie,
Approve.
Patrick.
Approved.
Motion carries. Thank you. Is there a motion to forward this on to the keeper to consider for the National Register, please?
I will make that motion.
Go for it.
I move that the board recommend the SHPO forward this nomination to the keeper for listing in the National Register with the revisions as discussed in the meeting.
I second. And once again, let's do roll call, please.
Mark,
Approve.
Ryan,
Approve?
Mary,
Approve.
Laura,
Disapprove.
Jay,
Approve.
Jean,
Approve.
Harry,
Approve.
Patrick.
Approve.
Motion carries. Thank you for a good discussion. This is why we meet.
Yeah.
And so it's useful. And by the way, thank you for everyone's comments. I am totally going to be thinking about this when I teach about preservation here in a couple of days in my class.